This is Stacy Marshall with Printwear Magazine.
Matt Vassallo with the WritingStoneWorld.com.
Richard Greaves with ScreenMaking.com.
Brian Walker with RTP Apparel.
You are listening to the Two Regular Guys
Podcast.
Hosted by
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
And
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Keep on listening.
I don't know if these guys are that regular.
All right, welcome to the show. It is Friday, November 6th, 2020. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com.
I know that Richard Greaves. He doesn't think we're all that regular. I tell you, he's I love Richard Greaves. Welcome in. I am Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at oursuccessgroup.com. Today, Terry, it's as Christine said here. Good morning. Happy nomination day. So indeed, it's going to be a great day for the REGGIE nominees. We're going to go through them all here. But before we do that, Terry, we wanted to give everybody some bonus content today. And so I've got a gentleman here that I really admire. You guys just had a real quick chance to meet him, but we're going to hear from him. In fact, we're going to talk about bringing some intentionality into our worlds with Matt Granados of Life Pulse Inc. So Terry, you mind if we just go ahead and dive right in?
Let's jump in. Matt Granados launched his first successful business at 15, and since then he's been hooked on building businesses from the ground up and the entrepreneur life, just like most of us. In true entrepreneur spirit, Matt developed his own The LP that he saw produce major results for himself, his employees, and his family. This system is so simple to implement, Matt knew he had to share it with others outside of his own life. He feels that if he can help each person get more done in less time, more people will experience the gift of a life truly lived on purpose.
All right. Welcome in, Matt. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate being here, man. Every time I hear someone read a bio, I sit there and go, who is that guy? The summary of that was a messed up dude, needed to figure out a solution, and my solution happened to work for other people. That's how it started.
So we should have got the condensed version and just make that a lot easier, right?
And if you listen to this, you'll learn real quick. I'm nothing special. People always make a comment. They kind of joke, like, man, they're like, you must be so organized, and that's why you use your planner. And I go, no, you're not understanding. I'm a complete train wreck, so I need my planner. Like, it's the opposite of how this whole thing works. I'm sure you guys get it too, where it's like, man, you guys you're so good, such go-getters, because you read all these books and you do all these things. And it's like, no. We are a go-getter because it's the result of what we've done. So appreciate being here. Really excited. And man, I love this setup. This is a full thing. This is awesome.
Well, hey, let's jump in. Give us some background details about your path to starting Life Pulse.
Yeah. So the fastest version of it was, I said I've been cursed with this entrepreneurial bug. You guys understand it. If anyone wants to be an entrepreneur, they think it's this really cool thing. If you are an entrepreneur, you understand what I'm saying. I had this issue where if somebody asks, where can I buy that? The answer is always me, whatever it is, right? Like, it's the worst question you can ask an entrepreneur. So had a business, things were going really well, was realizing that my employees were having issues getting the work done. So I put together this kind of program that I was teaching them. We brought individuals from Craigslist to build about a little over $40 million in sales for people who couldn't even graduate high school. And why was it? Was because we introduced this concept of intentionality to individuals who have never been intentional in their life. Well, what happened was, as I was introducing this to them, my entire life fell apart. Came back to, kind of gave myself, hey, let's get on this system, these 9 questions to make it the next week. Met my now wife, Maria, and before we were married, she looked at me and said, I knew marrying you was going to be hard, but I didn't realize it was going to be this hard. Like, you're crazy. How do you manage this stuff in your head? Like, Maria is entrepreneurial, but she's never been an entrepreneur until now. She has a very successful boutique that I might start working for soon. But what happened is we put together these questions that we call the LP. So for those who are watching, it's this shoulder, this right over my shoulder. And it's a 9-part question system that we would ask ourselves each week and then have a conversation. Worked with Maria, brought it back and kind of formalized that system with my staff, brought us to even bigger lengths in growth, and eventually got a phone call from a Fortune 500 company, one of the largest financial institutions that most of you would know if I said by name. And they said, hey, we found your book and it solves our biggest personnel problem. Would you be interested in coming and having a conversation? At first, I was like, what book? Like I didn't sell books. That was not what my business was at the time. LP didn't even exist at this time. So I went in and did what any dumb entrepreneur would do, is acted like I had a business. We had a conversation. I explained how the book worked, how the system worked. And from there, they said, this is something that we would have paid a ton of money for. I said, really? I said, well, you still can. They said, no, we're good. But this is really solving our biggest personnel problem. I said, look, we've been talking for 2 days at this point. What is that problem? Like, I don't know why I didn't ask this in the beginning. They said, we can't connect our corporate desired metrics with our individuals' desired lifestyles. This book does exactly that. And I went, interesting. I said, can I use that? They said, sure. I said, that's worth enough pay right there.
Yeah.
So I called my wife and said, remember that time you said we were too crazy, too many ideas, too many businesses? I said, well, we just started another one. Now Life Pulse is born. And that was it. So that company led to Google, to Twitter, to the Air Force, to many small businesses, to individuals, organizations, nonprofits. Anyone who's willing to hear us talk, our job is to get this message out to people. So that was how it all started. From there, people asked, where's your book? And that's kind of what the next step is in any consulting world. So we took all the content that we teach and we put it together in a book, which you see over this side of my head. Oop, that's Motivate the Unmotivated, which real quick, there you go. Came out, went up real quick into a #1 bestseller, and we've been launching that ever since. And we have a new book coming out next year. So we move fast. We do a lot. But our goal is to bring focus on intentional growth and sustainable motivation. That's what we do with any company we work with, no matter whether it's, we have a huge electric company down in Florida. We have a new landscaping company that's coming on board. We have a new accounting firm that's coming on board out of Alabama. I mean, you name it. It doesn't matter what the industry is. We work on people.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Matt, a lot of our listeners here, in fact, Pilar Regulator, small business owner, says at 15, good Lord, at 15, I was enjoying riding my 10-speed. So she played a little catch up. So we're the listeners here, which we call the regulators, they're small businesses, they're side hustles or startup type companies. So
I love it.
I think sometimes people look at some of the success you had and have done and go, okay, well, that's just for the big companies. But what can putting these formulas and strategies to work in their lives? How can that help them grow their businesses?
Yeah. So the biggest thing to recognize is your time is valuable, right? So with a lot of small businesses that I work with, they go, look, I can't afford this. Yeah. I can't afford to hire an assistant. I can't afford to outsource this. I have to do it all. And what they're really telling me is they're scared, right? Yeah. Now, please understand, I'm not saying spend money just to spend money, but recognize that there is a value of your time that you need to figure out. The first thing I say is, what's your hourly wage? Well, I don't know. I don't work hourly. Cool. If I was to hire you, what would you charge me to do what you're doing? And if it's $20 an hour and you can pay someone $10 an hour to do what you're doing that costs $20 an hour, that's a reasonable trade. So we just need to change the way of us thinking as a small business. The second thing is the biggest myth that I think small businesses get bullied into by big businesses is finding your niche and sticking with it. And I think I go against some trends by saying this. And look, niches are great. Trust me. When I find a niche, I swim in that till there's nothing else to take from it, right? I go and I hit. However, I don't create my own niches. I let the market niche me. Does that make sense? Yep. Especially as a small business, right? If your goal is to survive for a little bit until you can thrive. So in order to survive, we have to be willing to take what we can. So with our content, what I say is your time is very valuable. And if it's your side hustle, what that means is you have your life, you have your real job, then you have this. And you try to balance those three things. And if you're not being intentional about how you're spending your time, I promise you, you're going to miss something in one of those, which will cause major issues later on. And that's the other thing we don't think about in that time frame is we're so urgent based that we don't get strategic. So what I tell people to do, and this is the question I ask all small businesses and any regulator who's listening, is have you ever done a puzzle? Almost everyone says yes. I said, all right, great. Have you ever done a puzzle without taking it out of the box? And some of you are thinking, the answer is you can't, right? Yeah. So why do we try to do it up here? I mean, this is our box. So how do we do a puzzle? We open the box, first of all, and we dump it all out on a table. We then take the corners, we put the corners where they should be, we think, and then we do the sides and work our way from outside in. That's the entire system of this LP. It's a $20 to $30 book that says, all right, let's get it out of your head. We call this technique our brain dump, and it's clearing your mind in order to use your brain. Whenever we're overwhelmed, it's this 80-20 principle of planning that we talk about. 80% of your life you can plan, 20% you can't. However, if you don't take care of the 80, the 20 feels like 100.
Yeah.
So I'll say that again. 80% of your life you can plan, 20% you can't. But if you don't take care of that 80, that 20, that small minority feels like 100. And that's why you're feeling overwhelmed when you're having issues with your taxes. That's why you're feeling overwhelmed when a client puts them. That's why if you're going through relational issues, when you're going through financial issues, whatever issue you're going through, you're overwhelmed. But in reality, it's a minority of what's happening in your life versus what's happening in the majority of it. So that concept is what I tell every small business. And go get, I don't care if you get this book, get a book, get some system that you can use to regulate yourself so that you're putting the time in where it needs to go. Not too much time, right? Because look, I got 2 kids. We have 3 businesses. We sit on multiple boards. We have multiple nonprofits that we're a part of, one we own, and a foundation we're starting, right? How do we manage all this? That's what everyone always says. I go, well, it's simple. I don't wait for needing a system to have a system. I find a system when I don't need it. I perfect it. So when I do need it, I just plug more into what I'm already used to doing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I talk a lot too, so you guys have to cut me off. Otherwise,
You're probably going to tell your wife after the show, hey, I have this idea for a t-shirt business. So after being on the 2 regular guys.
No, we got a t-shirt from Aaron. Aaron, appreciate the shirt from my
you're
daughter.
welcome.
So now we know where we're going for t-shirts. What I am going to tell her is our podcast needs this cool background. We need video. We need to do all this stuff. And we need somebody to help us organize. That's what I'm going to tell her.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, Matt, on your website, there's a line that says, our focus is on transforming businesses by transforming lives first.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in a world of autonomy, right, in a world of robotics and where are all of our jobs going to go, there is still a creator creating the creation. And that's us. That's humans. I mean, we are still an intricate part of this world, right? Everyone thinks that cars that drive themselves are good, but still not everyone's comfortable letting it do everything, right? So automation is not as full blown as we might think it's what's, oh, well, it's coming. Well, it's not here yet. So the root of any business's issue is the people. You have an issue with the business. I will tell you, it's the people who are doing it. Now, it might be the people's strategy. It might be the people's culture. There's something about it. But what I can tell you is if our people aren't operating at a peak level of performance, and the average person without doing anything is going to operate at max about 40% of their ability. That's just, hey, let's just put it what we can and show up to work and you take care of this job. About 40% of what they're actually capable of doing. Include that number transcends into the amount of time they're taking, their efficiency, their effectiveness, everything. And it's because their mind's all over the place. So what we do is when we come in and work with companies, we say, look, I get, like, let's take Google, for example, right? When we were working with Google, I get that you have a job to do. I'm not here to tell you how to do your job. I'm here to show you how to do more of what you should be doing. Does that make sense? So like, I don't come in and teach people how to do what they're good at. I'm not a specialist in that. What I'm a specialist is, what do you want? You need to get more done in less time. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We're going to show you how to get an extra 15 hours of productivity every week. You need to motivate people who aren't motivated. That's what we do. That's why I said we focus on 2 things: intentional growth and sustainable motivation. That's it. Anything outside of that, I can't tell you how to run your books. If you want to do business strategy, I'll charge you, but I'm going to be making it up as I go, right? I mean, here's what I've done, right? But what I focus on and what our platform is and what Life Pulse does, intentional growth and sustainable motivation.
Yeah, that's great. So the book's come up a couple of times. I've got a copy of it right here in front of me as well, besides the one that you've got over your shoulder there. But Motivate the Unmotivated. So you talk in the book about systemizing the how of motivation. Can you maybe explain that to us a little bit more?
Yeah, so basically I was so confused on why I had employees that I'm offering them a great opportunity, great money, everything they needed, in my opinion. Why weren't they motivated? Yeah. Why would anybody not be motivated? And what I realized was there was this myth I would keep hearing is, look, you can't motivate people. You can't motivate someone who doesn't want to be motivated. And I'm going, I sell people stuff all the time that they don't want. I mean, that's what I do in sales. If you're selling a product, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but you're trading value. Well, why can't I motivate people? And I started realizing that motivation is not a character trait, it's a state of mind. And once that triggered in me, I go, wait a minute. If it's just a state of mind, I can change that in people. How do I change that? By value. So we do everything based on this term that we call PVTT. That's personal value tied to task. Anyone I'm working with, if I'm working with Terry, if I'm working with Aaron, if I'm working with any of your employees coming under you, I got to understand, what is it you value and how does doing this task connect to that value? Great example, 3-year-old daughter. All right. My 3-year-old daughter right now has a goal. And if you look on our social media, you'll see it. We posted it yesterday. It's all set up. She wants to buy a $27 Tiggy. Tiggy is a character from Daniel Tiger, if anyone watches it. And Daniel Tiger, for who doesn't know what that is, if you remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, it was the tiger that he talked to that PBS turned into a cartoon. So I'm trying to bring everyone from all decades into what's happening.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And what happens is she said, I want a Tiggy. I said, cool. I said, well, how are you going to get it? Well, I don't know. Can I use your money? Right? I'm talking to my 3-year-old daughter. And I said, no. She said, well, can I have money? I said, yeah, we got to get money. So we put together this whole goal. So she has a goal right now. It's up on her wall that she needs to get $27. Now, in order to buy something for $27, based on what we call it our ABC budget that we use at Life Pulse, she needs to save 20% and give 20% before she could spend 20%. Right. So right now she's at $39 that she needs to raise. And she's doing that by helping us take care of her brother. She's helping us set the table and she's working through this. She is waking up asking, what can I do? At 3, because we put a value behind what she wants and we tied it to the task that she needs to do. I can't even tell you how many times she has asked to babysit my son, who's 2, right? Like, can I babysit him again and again and again? Can we stuff planners? She stuffs the planners and we pay her, right? That's kind of how we do it. Don't tell anyone who does labor law, but it works in our house. So the reason why I'm telling this story is it doesn't matter how old or young you are. It's the same concept. What is it you value and how do we put it around it? Now, there's a formula to motivation. This formula is the sum of you and them. So how well you know yourself and how well you know the other person times whatever system you're using equals the results you're going to get. So what that means is if Aaron is trying to motivate Terry, no offense, right? But Aaron is trying, Terry is an unmotivated individual, right? Aaron needs to know who Aaron is and be comfortable who Aaron is and be willing to get questioned who Aaron is, be able to stand strong with who Aaron is.
Okay.
Aaron can have not a single ounce of hypocrisy in anything he does when it comes to his relationship with Terry. With hypocrisy, there's no way Terry's going to trust what Aaron's saying. Let's just look at politics right now, right? That's the biggest issue is you can find hypocrisy in everything everyone says. So therefore, who can you trust? Now, Aaron knows the you. Now, Aaron needs to make sure he knows the they, right? Or them, which is Terry. How do we do this? We ask questions. There's 3 questions that if Aaron was to ask Terry on a weekly basis, after about 4 weeks, you can motivate him to do anything. Those 3 questions are in the book. And I'm going to tell you because I still want you to read the book. It's what are you focused on? What are you working towards? And what are you grateful for? If I know those 3 things that Terry says, not what Aaron thinks Terry should be doing, but what Terry says, after about 4 weeks of watching that trend, I can get Terry to do almost anything.
Nice.
Right? So that's how that system works. And then finally, what's the system? Right? Motivation, I tell people, is like it's like lighting a flame, more accurately like a pilot light in your house or in your fireplace. And what happens is if you light it and you turn, if it's managed properly, you can turn it up and turn it down. And it does amazing things for your furnace and for your house. Uh-huh. However, if you don't manage it properly, it will literally blow your house up. It's an open flame 100% of the time. Motivation's the same way. So if I motivate Terry or Aaron motivates Terry without giving Terry a system to use, we don't know where Terry will end up.
He's going to blow up.
Yeah, I mean, you're sparking a flame that no one's ever sparked without giving a solution. It's like, why do kids go to Hollywood and turn out crazy? It's like they don't have any system to run on. There's no track to run on. It's a train that's moving very fast, faster than it's ever moved before with no track to run on. Yeah. That's why we use those 3 things. And that's why when we go into companies, we say, here are the 3 things we offer. 90-day goal rush, which is for you. Motivation management, which is for how you work with them. And then the unbreakable workshop, which is how we use the system. What do you need? Let's do it. I make it very easy for companies to say yes to us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Right. Hey, before you got a quick question from one of the regulators here. Jerry says, can Matt give the acronym again, please?
The acronym for the motivation formula?
Yes.
Or the acronym for PVTT is personal value tied to task.
Okay.
PVTT. The formula, if you're looking for the motivational formula, is it's the sum of you plus them. times whatever system equals result. So the way I put it is in parentheses, Y plus T, parenthesis, times S equals R.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, Matt. Hey,
Thanks.
before we let you go,
Two questions coming. That makes, I don't like the, otherwise I say the same thing I say every time. I like that.
Matt, before we let you go, give us that one piece of advice that you give to small business owners about building foundations to motivate and also motivating others.
So motivate yourself to build your foundation outside of obviously reading my book. Right. But I'm shameless when it comes to plugging anything.
That's
but
fine.
what I would say is make planning the number one priority each day. That would be it. Like, don't just go with it. If you're going with the flow, you're going to be drugged with the flow.
Yeah.
Like, going with the flow is not the way you become successful or sustainable or have a foundation. That would be the first thing. The second thing I would tell people is, and I'm dead serious on this, I get coaches on anything I want to do. I pay for somebody to coach me. And here's why I say that is because it is an investment in what I'm doing and where I'm trying to go. I belong to many different mastermind groups. I belong to many different organizations. I mean, I pay a lot of money to be around people that I want to be around, right? I say that half joking. I pay for all my friends because finding ones are very difficult that you want to be around, right? But I do that, and then I find a coach, and I don't always have the same coach. Like, I cycle through coaches based on what I'm trying to do. My wife and I, we go to see a therapist, not because our relationship's in turmoil, but I call it we're putting deposits in that bank. Yeah. Eventually, we're going to run into something that we need someone that we can talk to. And why wait till we're about to get divorced to go to a therapist? I'd rather go now. Does that make sense? So, like, totally. Have a system now, and that probably is what would be like the overall number one, Terry, to answer your question, as I basically verbally vomit as I think out loud, is recognizing that extraordinary people have a system before they need it. Normal people wait till they need it to find a system. Yeah. So what system are you using? Don't worry. Well, hey, I'm good. Aaron, I don't need your help because I'm good right now. It's like, no. Aaron, I don't need your help right now. But what should I be working on? Right? You have this massive success. What should I be doing right this second? Okay, I don't, versus coming to you crying, saying, Aaron, please, 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 my business is about to fall apart. I can't do this. My marriage is falling apart. We deal with that when people come to us, and we help them a lot. We do certain things that are instant fixes, but man, it's so much easier to be prepared for it versus having to forcefully do it right at that time.
Yeah. So Matt, you I appreciate the shameless plugs. Actually, I think that our listeners can learn a lot from that. We definitely, I know I've had to overcome that whole, oh, I can't talk about that. That's not the right thing to do. But Jerry asked us another question here and says, does promoting yourself or your product ever turn friends or family off? If so, how can that be worked around?
Yeah. So the goal, and this is the focus, is I share, I don't save. What I mean by that is my goal is to share with people, not save people. So whether I'm talking touchy issues, politics, religion, you name it, my focus is I'm sharing. I'm not trying to save. I'm not trying to explain to them why they're wrong or protect them from themselves. Same with business. So like this book, I have a lot of family that don't use this book. Now they'll wonder why they're busy, why they can't handle it. And I also have a lot that do use it. And why do they use it is because they see me doing it. The key in all of this stuff is being versus telling, right? It goes back to that hypocrisy. So your question of, does it ever turn people off? It depends on how you do it. Hey, I have the best book. It's a 9-part system. If you use this, it's going to save your life. I can't believe you're not using it. You got to use this. Let me give you one. And then pay me when you think it's good. Like, no one likes that. Versus, hey, I'm stressed. Interesting. Why don't you take out a piece of paper, answer these 9 questions for me real quick. I've done that with countless family members. Wow, this is really good. What is this? Yeah, that's the LP that I've been selling for 10 years. Why don't you try one? Right?
So you show them how it works, but like you said, you're not saving them.
It's also making sure you're offering a good product. Like, if you're asking them to do you a favor by working with you or paying you or coming in under you, then yeah, that's awkward and that's going to cause issues because they're doing you a favor. But if you have a book that can help them and learn how to motivate the unmotivated, then hey, I would love for you to check it out. I won't be offended if you don't buy it, but I'd like you to at least look at it just to see, is this something you're interested in? Yeah. So I would say, Jerry, it's the approach. It's the conversation, and it's what's your intent? Is your intent to help, or is your intent to sell? If you're going in to try to sell, I would stay away from your family or friends. But if you're going in trying to help, willing to give it for free because it's that valuable to them. I like servant leadership more than anybody else. The amount of these books that I've given away to people who have then turned into huge clients. I mean, if I'm about to work with somebody, they get a copy of the book, they get an LP, they get a free 1-hour consultation right away. Why? Because I know the value that once they see what we do, they will continue to work with us. And that's what we do. We get into companies that have 2,000 employees. We start with 2, and then 2 turns to 4, 4 to 8, and we land and we expand. And that's why once we're in companies, we know we can do it. So what does it take to get into a company? Whatever they need.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love the fact that you believe in yourself and your product, though. And I think that can be where we just, like I said, you're providing a value and a service, no matter what it is that you're doing. If you believe in that, then you can easily have those conversations with anybody, friends, family, or otherwise, but you have to believe in yourself first.
Well, not only that, but man, I get so bothered when I'm sitting there and like, I'm putting a deck on a house, and a family member goes, "Man, why didn't you call me?" I'm going, "What? Why didn't you call me? If I knew you could put my deck up, I'd much rather use you. I'm paying a lot of money either way. I'd rather use someone I'm working with." Now, here's the other thing is if you're going to work with your friends and family, you better make sure it is 100% your responsibility that it is a positive experience, no matter what, even if they're unruly. That's what you're going into if you care about the relationship. If you don't care about the relationship, then by all means, do what you got to do. But that's something like, for example, I have a friend of mine who's coming on. This individual is going to start off, right? And I'm not saying numbers to brag, but I'm just saying because he's making a big investment. $22,000 a month for at least 3 months for us to come in and start working with his team. He's got over 100 employees, right? So we're coming in, starting to work with his team. I told him, I said, I want an operating agreement with you from friend to friend. Because I said, with that much of me going in, I can't give this to you for free. I can't designate that much time and give it to you for free. It's just not possible right now. I said, so here's the agreement. If it goes south, here's what's going to happen. And he's like, "Man, we don't need an agreement." I said, "No." I said, "Nobody needs an agreement when things are going well. But we all wish we had one when they're going bad."
Yeah.
So when you're working with family, oh my goodness, if I knew someone could paint my walls and I didn't have to do it, I'm bothered that I have to go Google people. Like, I want to know what you're doing, who you're doing it with. So part of that is also embracing the fact of, if you want people to buy from you, go buy from your circles.
Yeah. Make
sure you're looking through your circles first. Hey, I'm looking to get this. Anyone have a babysitter? I have a kid I could pay to babysit my kids. Like, let's return, the law of reciprocity. Let's give first, and then we can receive later. It does work that way. That's natural.
Yeah. Cool. Matt, is your 3-year-old available for outside babysitting jobs?
She is, but she basically just pushes them into a corner.
Okay.
And, that's it.
All right. All right. So, Matt, tell our listeners where they can connect with you, find you. We've had a couple of comments, people asking for where to buy the book. Eric has put a couple of links in there, Amazon and your website and stuff. But give us where they need to connect with you at.
Yeah. So a couple things I would say is, if you are interested in seeing what we do, we have I think it's a 4-question survey. That I don't usually, on these type of things, I usually send them to our podcast get, but this is more than a podcast because there's videos, there's more people, there's logos. This is much more intense. So, which I love, by the way. So what I would say is go to lifepulseinc.com/let-us-help.
Okay.
And I'm sharing this link, and I never shared it before, so I don't know if you guys are going to like it, but I'm sharing this link because this whole concept has come with reciprocity of giving to people, motivating the unmotivated. My job in motivating the unmotivated is to give to, we call him Unmo. I didn't even tell you the character of the book. Unmo is the long distance cousin of Elmo, right? Elmo is the super motivated little 3-year-old who's been through for the last 70 years. Unmo is like this drunk who hasn't shaved. And you'll see there's a picture in the book. But that's the main character. We all have Unmos in our life. The way to get Unmo to become Elmo, right, to not be Unmo anymore, is to help Unmo figure out what they want, and then even more importantly, take what they want and connect it with what you need them to do. So that's what this Let Us Help You is it's a quick 5-question survey that you can go through, and it will let us see what it is, who you are, what you're working with, and then our team, for free, we'll customize a plan that you should take based on where we are. Everything from, hey, go buy this $20 book, to, hey, you got to bring us in to do a keynote for your whole team, to you need coaching, and we'll just put it out there and let you know how it works. And if it makes sense, we'll work together. And if not, at least it's a path for you to go somewhere else and find answers that way. But that would be the best way to contact us. You can contact us on social media at Life Pulse Inc. Every platform, it's all the same handle. And again, grab a book. If you don't like it, our LPs, everything we sell is a 90-day money-back guarantee that if you don't get the results that you want, we will give you your money back in 90 days as long as you actually done the work, right? You can't buy it and look at it and say, hey, here's a blank one back. It didn't work. Yeah, I know. You can return it. That's a different thing. But we like to be challenged. So far, no one that we've worked with the busiest airport in the world, the Atlanta airport, cannot break this system because it's based on truths. It's not me. I promise you, it's not because I'm smart. It's because I've been tested for years trying to manage this idiot. And I found a system that worked for me. It's based on truths. And I tell people all the time, truths are constant, application changes. So this will work for you because it's anchored in truth and it can apply to whatever you're doing.
That's awesome. Matt, thank you so much. This has been great. The information, we've got comments coming in. You know, great information. Thanks, Matt, for your generosity. Good stuff. Pilar, you know what, Matt, do you have a second for one more quick question?
I got my 3-year-old watching my kid. I got all
all day. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Well, Gustav asked, "Can you come to Sweden?"
Please! It's snowboarding season. Let's do it.
But Pilar asked, "Can I ask what your friend-to-friend agreement was?"
Yeah.
Any details you can share that? Sorry.
Yeah, and I'd say Pilar, if you go to that, let us help you. I can actually send you a copy of it. I do agreements with people. Look, when we bought a dog, my wife signed an agreement, right? And that's what we should put up there, right? No outfits. The dog's not in the family picture. The dog has to eat dog food, not human food. The dog can't interrupt the mom and dad's love life. Like, there's a lot there that I wanted to make sure we were on the same page before we got a dog. I'm a little strange, but I like to make sure we are on the same page before we get started. So the agreement, and it would really depend on what you do, what you're doing for them. But it's basically like, look, if this thing goes south, here's how we're going to resolve it. Hey, if this goes south, we're going to stop, and I'm going to find someone else who can come in and finish this job for you. If this goes south, right, like I'm going to stop or hey, if this goes south, I'm going to give you all the money back. And it needs to be overly generous on your part if you're confident in your service of what you're doing.
Right.
Because I don't think relationships are worth a sale. Now, this sale I'm talking about, that's a decent sale for a quarter, right? An extra $70,000 for 3 months of work. That's a decent sale that I don't want to let go, but I also don't want to give this friend up. And I told him, I was like, honestly, I think your friendship's worth 70 grand. Like, for 70 grand, I would not be friends with you. Like, we've joked about it. I was like, but I don't want to. I don't think that has to happen. So the biggest thing is, here's what the expectations are. Here's what I'm going to be doing. Not just like, oh, well, I'm going to mow your yard. No. I'm going to be there every Saturday, every third Saturday. If my guys aren't there, I will be there. If you're not happy, I want you to call me directly right away. Like there needs to be expectations on both. Yeah. And the argument might be like, well, aren't you going to lose the sale? And my argument is, I would like to lose the sale if I'm going to lose the friend.
Yeah.
Right. So like, let's make it clear. But I can give you some ideas on that. And I love to, chat with people. I get bored all the time, even though I'm busy. I like to help people out. So if you have a question, you can send it direct. And I love to help. But there's systems for everything. The world goes around like that. But any questions you all have, I mean, I can stick around. I don't think we have much, but you tell me.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've got it covered. I want people to check that out. Matt, we'd also love to have you back on and dig even deeper if you can find some time later on. So you and I will be in touch about that, if that's all right.
Yeah. Happy to be here. Love it. This is great. I love the setup, man. It's a lot of fun.
Good. Well, thanks a ton, Matt.
Comments. I didn't realize I could see them. I'm looking at the private chat going, I got nothing. What comments are you seeing? There's a lot of you.
We hide them over there. Yeah.
Well, hey, if this is the trip that gets me out to Sweden, this is the best podcast I've been on. So let's do it.
All right. Well, Gusta, it's on you, buddy. All right.
Thank you for having me, man.
Awesome. All right, Matt. Thanks a lot, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
That was awesome. I could have talked to him all day.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, we'll do that. I think that we can go deeper and his book. I've just gotten started with it and looking forward to it. But listening to him and getting a chance to get to know him just a hair has been great. He speaks a lot of the same language that I do, and so I love it. I love it for sure.
It's funny when he was talking about being a self-promoter of his book, I kept thinking about my coffee mug that says, "Ask me about my book."
There you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right, cool. Well, Terry, let's dive into this because we got the Reggies to get to here today too, and so. But before that, we do have a dad joke that, I'm pretty sure that's what really people are here for today. Right, Christine? All right. So I'm going to do the dad joke real quick, and then we can get into this. So here is the dad joke. And this is from our good friend, Lisa Shaw. And so been on the show before and is if you'll follow her on Facebook, you'll get all sorts of great groaning type dad jokes. So, but here was one of them. What do you get when you pick a pig's nose?
I don't know, Aaron. What do you get when you pick a pig's nose?
Hamburgers.
I love it. And she has a graphic.
yeah, this graphic. I know. Snot's funny. Yep, there we go. So
I love it. All right, Aaron. Hey, before we dive in, we want to thank everyone for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. If you are listening to the podcast version, we would appreciate you sharing with your friends so they can become regulators too. Plus, we would love and appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or wherever you're out there listening to this podcast. And it's very helpful for us if you do that. So please go out and do that. We're also looking for new guests. If anyone knows of someone or you would like to be a guest, go to calendly.com/2 regular guys and give us your show ideas and maybe you could be on the show with us. And if you're watching us live right now, join in with your comments and questions as you have been. And reach out to your industry friends right now to join us and hear who the nominees are going to be for the 2020 REGGIE Awards.
2028 years, Terry. Can you believe
I know.
that?
It's crazy.
That's awesome. It's fun. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And like Terry said, make sure that you reach out and get people over here from the nominations and tell your friends to go back and watch from the beginning so they can get all that great information from Matt too. But before we get into the Reggies here, Terry, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, Impressions. And we'll be back to hit those nominees right after that. What is Impressions Expo? Impressions Expo, formerly known as ISS, is the premier trade show dedicated to the imprinted and decorated apparel industry. They have 5 shows that are produced annually in each region of the United States, including Long Beach, California, Atlantic City, New Jersey, Orlando, Florida, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and cap off the year at Fort Worth, Texas. Each of those 5 annual shows also feature over 30 seminars and hands-on workshops in categories such as screen printing, embroidery, digitizing, digital decorating, and much, much more. Visit ImpressionsExpo.com for more details, and while there, use the promo code REGULARGUYSIE for a free Expo Pass. Again, make sure you visit ImpressionsExpo.com to get more details. And the Two Regular Guys look forward to seeing you there. All right. Well, thanks very much to Impressions, and we appreciate their support. And Marianne said, I just saw that Impressions had really scaled back the trade show schedule next year. So we'll be in touch with Josh and see what we can find out. And we'll try to keep you guys in the know and see what's going on over there. Terry, you haven't had a chance to talk to those guys at all, have you?
I have not, but I certainly will reach out to them for next week's show.
Excellent. All right. Well, Terry, Reggie's. Let's try that.
Remember how we used to lie and say that we were wearing tuxedos?
I did put on a sports coat today, though. I do have a sports coat on, so
I have to go film video as soon as we're done here down in Tempe for Equipment Zone. So,
you got your work shirt on, yeah?
I got my work shirt on. I feel like I'm doing a trade show.
Nice. All right, well, let's do this, Terry.
Yeah. So the REGGIE Awards, as you've mentioned, 8 years. Voting is going to take place on December 10th up until 5. Voting takes place from now until December 10th at 5 p.m. Central, the center of the universe. And you can do that at 2regularguys.com/2020_Reggies. You'll see a tab right up there at the top that says REGGIE Awards. So, Aaron, do you want to start, or you want?
Yeah, that's fine. No, I can go ahead and start off. And like Terry said, yeah, the voting's already open. I don't think I've got the link into the menu quite yet, so you'll have to go directly there. I'm sure there'll be a link that shows up in the comments and whatnot as well. But let's get this going. The other thing, Terry, we're going to share every single nominee and then tell you who's eligible for the voting, because we do want to recognize everybody that people took the time to nominate, and so all of these are very worthy of it. We got the top 5, 6. I think there's one category that has 7. I didn't know how to break a tie, so
yeah,
just kind of went with 7. But yeah, so again, check out all of this stuff, all of these people, congratulate them. Just being nominated is a huge honor, and because again, somebody took the time to say, "Hey, this is worth me saying yes. This is good stuff." So, shall we, Terry?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, best new product. And the nominees were Water Soluble Sticky Back by Enmart, Ultracolor Digital Screen Printing Transfers by Transfer Express, Stahl's Ultra Weed Heat Transfer Vinyl. This one was an interesting one. I left it in here because I think it's still good. Sloan Coleman created the Here for Good campaign, so it wasn't necessarily a product, but yeah, I think that's worth a mention.
Absolutely, that's a good idea.
Yeah. The Caesar Sparkle vinyl, one-step pre-treatment from Coldesi, Kira Rhinestones, the Image Armor E-Series inks, the Epson F3070 DTG printer, Corel Trainer software, All Made masks, and the Sawgrass SG500/SG1000, those 2 printers, all were nominated. So there's the list of nominees. Didn't quite make the cut. Here are the 5 products that are going to be in the running this year for this REGGIE Award, in no particular order. Action Engineering Mask Platen, the 360 IQ hat press from Stahl's, the Shirt Lab Tribe, Color Sparkle Color Shield, and HTV Anything. So there we go. There are our nominees for best new product, Terry.
Awesome. And of course, the folks that make the cut are folks that got multiple nominations. So we take the top 5 or 6, depending. And as you said, sometimes there's a clear defining cutoff. And as you mentioned, 7, that where there's 100 nominations and then it drops to 3. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, even some of the ones that didn't quite make the cut still had multiple nominations, but whoever had the most nominations, like you said, it kind of goes and fortunately for most categories there was a clear, but there's definitely some 6s in there. So it kind of, instead of the tie going to the runner, I don't know how that actually works, but the tie just meant extra people got in. So
exactly. All right. Next category, best sales or customer service representative. And to go way down the list here, the TRW call center, Alex, Bree, and Haley, Tony Williams, Tom Round, Shauna Soom from Stahl's, Ryan Moore from Ryanette, Monty Mims from Sanmar, Michael Kaminsky from Sublimation 101, Megan Rodenhouse, Meg Erber with S&S Activewear, Matt Jones at Tex-Mex. Let's see here. Mark Coudray, Liam James, Christine Shreve, Kayla Gayton from Atlas Screen Supply, Katie Koch at IT Supplies, John Hines, Joe from Caesar. Notice I got it right, Caesar. I didn't call it Sister.
Did. So impressive. Very impressed.
Jason Murphy. Jason's with Sanmar. Holly Wood at Coldesi. Janice Johnson, also at Sanmar. And here are our nominees for Best Sales or Customer Service Rep. Bobby Blosser, Matt Vasallo, Todd Downing, Aaron Montgomery, Alan Howe, and Josh Ellsworth. Those are all great ones. I know that Kim Johnson is a huge fan of Matt Vasallo. He's kind of a mentor for her. So
awesome. That's great. Yeah. I thank you for nominating me, folks. I appreciate being on that list with those amazing folks. Jerry asks, do the winners receive anything aside from prestige? And do you know the answer to that, Terry?
Yes, absolutely. You get a plaque and you get a coffee mug. And it's not a coffee mug that says, ask me about my book. It's a coffee mug that says that you are a REGGIE winner for 2020.
Yeah. And if it was 2019 going into 2020, it took a really long time. So last year's winners do all have their stuff now, finally, though. So
awesome.
pleased to announce. All right. Let's keep moving here, Terry. So the next category is the company that provides the best customer service. And again, the nominees are Sawgrass, 143 Vinyl, Action Engineering, Cosmos Inc., Coldesi, Corel Trainer, the Decorated Apparel Expo, Fat Dad Custom Designs, Terry, GSG. I don't know if we have to do a chant for that or how that works.
Yeah, you know me.
Okay. So
I'm the guy that always yells that at the trade shows when they do their cheer.
So GSG, Impressions, JDS, M&R, Oklahoma Shirt Company, the Shirt Lab, Sublimation 101, Wensco Sign Supply, and Wilcom America. Those are all the nominees. And the nominees who will be voted on here, we've got Sanmar, Coastal Business Supplies, Stalls, the Rhinestone World, and our Success Group. So there we go. Great,
Very good. Great
category. List. Yeah, definitely. All right, what's next, Terry?
Best Industry Educator. And that list is Charles Myers from Nina Paper, Clay Barbera.
Charlie
Myers.
Yep.
Clay Barbera from Corel Trainer, Colin Huggins, Dane Clement with Great Dane Graphics, Debbie from Debbie Does Designs, Josh Ellsworth with Stalls, Christine Shreve, Megan Rodenhouse, Nikki Adamkowitz.
Yeah, look at you go.
Michael Kamitsky, Terry Combs, Todd Downing. And the ones who are going to be voted on are Mark Coudray, Jimmy Lamb, Aaron Montgomery, Eric Campbell, Marshall Atkinson, and Matt Vasallo.
Wow. Another list that as I was putting these together, I was like, wow, I'm pretty humbled right now.
Among giants.
yeah, definitely. And Terry, I've got to give you huge kudos. You've taken the hardest list of names here and done a pretty darn good job. So I'm feeling a little nervous here. So
I did think I probably should have read through these before we started since you compiled all this.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, keep moving on. Let me check for some comments here real quick before we get too far away. Todd says, I'm going to start going by REGGIE nominated Todd Downing. So there you go. And let's see here. Pilar says to Todd, I think you should sign all your posts with that. So that's good. And then Christine would like your coffee mug that says, I want a coffee mug that says, ask me about my book.
I will have it next week on the show.
There you go. So perfect. And so great stuff. Thank you, Pilar. So congratulations to Aaron and Matt. Thank you guys for all the comments. All right, Terry. So where are we at here? Best online educational content. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So here is the list of nominees Sawgrass Academy, Sublimation 101, ASI, Cole Desi, Condi Systems YouTube channel, Stalls, Small Business Saturdays, The SAS, and Tuesdays with Todd. So, and then the nominees that will be voted on here, we've got the Rhinestone World YouTube channel, we've got Shirt Lab, we have Our Success Group, we have Eric Campbell's The Take Up, and we have Lisa Shaw's After Hours. So Eric is already commenting. The reciprocators are represented. So we'll have to, we still haven't figured out how we have that battle without somebody actually killing the other person. So we're trying to avoid that from happening. Kind of the Anchorman style. Yes, thank you. Thank you for clarifying. All right, let's keep going, Terry.
All right. Most influential up-and-comer in the industry. And this is someone who is 40 or less. The nominees for that the nominees from our vast list:
yes,
Alex Vanover, Alexa Carey, Angela Jasmina, Angela Potter of Kids Custom Designs, Brett Bowden, Braden Jessen, Clay Barbera, Emma and Nick Ludwig, Joe Ortnow, Joe Piazza, Joe Rist, Kayla Gayton, Lee Stewart, Louise Vitor Mendez, nice. Megan Elizabeth, Nathan Lieber, RJ Rickert, Shelby Craig, Tanner Bell. And nice. The nominees that we will be voting on are Bobby Blosser, Lisa Potts of Lisa Pot Designs, Jenna Sackett, Kevin Oakley with Stoked on Printing, Megan Rodenhouse, and Sloan Coleman.
Yeah. And I did my darndest to try to make sure that everybody was under 40 on the list. So if anybody can verify for sure that that's not the case, we'll certainly make corrections if we need to.
What's your question? Can you name all the characters in Saved by the Bell? If you can, you're over 40.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So you're out. You're out. They're like, no, I just really love Saved. Okay. All right. Yeah. So great list. And I love the fact that that we know a lot of these people, Terry. That makes me feel pretty good. So I've been doing this for 20 years, and so to know that there's some young people coming up that are going to continue this forward, it's pretty cool.
Exactly.
All right, let's get to, and this is my chance to read some names, but they've all been guests on the Two Regular Guys, so I get a shot here. I'll still probably mess them up, but best guest on the Two Regular Guys. So here are the nominees: Tony Chameri, Sloan Coleman, Marcia Derryberry, Kelly DeFries, Josh Ellsworth, Eric Sirapan. And the note that came with that says changed how we think about SEO. So it was a great SEO show on there. And then Bill Carlin of Shipmates Fulfillment. And then this was the one where I didn't have a clear winner. So this is where we came to, or not clear winner, had a clear dividing line. So I had to go down a little bit further. But so here are the nominees that we will be voting on. Pilar Harris. Pilar Harrison. Good grief. Eric Campbell, or E-Rich, as you might. Sorry, I had to do it, Eric. Just got the disappointing look in the background here. Jeremy Picker, Keith Burwell, Christine Shreve, Pete Lovelace, and Scott Ritter. So those were all great.
That's a tough list.
And Eric asks, was I a guest? It's hard to remember these days. He's been a guest. We've interviewed him, bonus content, the whole nine. So, and then Pilar on one of the women in garment decorating episodes. So yeah, this is a fantastic list, and Christine hosting and all that kind of fun stuff. So high fives.
Is it fair to have Pete Lovelace on here though? Because you did confetti. That was a that made it much more memorable.
How about this? I will do confetti when we announce the winner of the best guest. Again.
Perfect.
All right. So there's your, Pete, if you're listening, there's your motivation to. All right. Let's get to the next category here, Terry.
Okay, Women in Garment Decorating Award. The nominees are Tiffany Rader Spitzer, Michelle Moxley, Megan Rodenhouse, Megan Elizabeth, Mandy Graham, Liz Ernst, Lisa Shaw, Jennifer Cox, Jenna Sackett, Denise Ahrens, Alexa Carey, and we'll be voting on the top nominated folks, who are Kelly DeFries, Christine Shreve, Pilar Harrison, Allison Benholzer, and Tanya Deutscher.
Nice. Good job. And good job reading by you. And congratulations to all the nominees. And Christine mentioned that she didn't actually host the one with Pilar on it, that I did, because she was having technical difficulties. But Pilar rightfully said that Christine was there in spirit. So
Right.
I was channeling my best Christine Shreve. So all right. And then Jeff had a comment quite a bit earlier that I missed, but I think this was kind of funny, so I wanted to put it out there when we were talking about the under 40, trying to figure that out. He said, how do I look? In quotes, I can tell you it's a trap. So how old do I look? I can tell you it's a trap. So must know from experience. All right. New category this year that pretty excited about. This is the most inspirational, and the women in garment decorating category is also a new category.
Absolutely.
This year. So,
yes.
I'm excited about this, and think that growing this, and I think we'll see how these continue to evolve next year as well. But this new category, most inspirational, encouraging decorators community member, and okay, now here's where I get to really dive in here, Terry. So wish me luck. So Tanya and Jay Deutscher, Scott Coleman with Cole Desi, Ryan Moore, Nikki Adamgiski. You did it way better than I did.
I believe it's Adamkowitz.
Adamkowitz. Okay, we'll go with that. And Megan Rodenhouse, Mark Coudray, Jay Bassell, Gavin St. George, Eric Sutton, Tom Rowan, Marge Easterling, Luis Vitor, Josh Ellsworth, and Bobby Blauser. And the nominees that we will be voting are Todd Downing, Pilar Harrison, Matt Vasallo, Eric Campbell, and Aaron Montgomery.
Look at you two.
Yeah. It's
I'm
weird
on
to
my
read
way
your own
to-
name.
Isn't it? I'm on my way to do video with Jay Bassell there, so I'll have to
There
make
you
sure
go.
he knows.
Yeah. Well, he should be tuned in. Tell him he should be tuned in.
Well, that's true.
You
He's
should
probably
know.
watching right now. So.
Yeah. Come on, Jay. Where you at? All right. Oh, let's round this out, Terry.
Right.
It's 11 o'clock. We've done a great job. So good
Okay.
job by you, sir.
Best ambassador for the industry. Those nominees are Tom Round, Tom Davenport, Todd Downing, Richard Greaves, Randy Rickett, Megan Rodenhouse, Mark Coudray, Lon Winter, Liberty Lehman, Josh Ellsworth, Jimmy Lamb, Charlie Toblieb, Brian Lang, and Jay Bassell again. And we will be voting in the best ambassador for the industry for Ryan Moore, Aaron Montgomery, Pilar Harrison, Marshall Atkinson, Eric Campbell, Matt Vasallo. So that is our list. Everybody get out there and vote.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. Get out there and vote. Again, that location, and we'll get it into the menu here a little bit later this afternoon. But if you want to go right now, vote early and often. Isn't that how it goes with these kinds of elections, Terry?
vote early, vote often. Yeah. Yeah. We won't be counting the votes 3 days after the event, though. So
it'll be pretty much there. So if you go to and Eric's got it up on the screen for those that are tuned in live, but for the podcast listeners, it's regularguys.com/2020 _Reggies, REGGIES. So, really quick before we move on and close out the show here, just wanted to share a couple of other quick notes from the nominations. We had another category, and so I wanted to share a couple of the notes that were in there just to make sure that we're covering everything. Plus, there was some fun stuff. Best Virtual Event, Shirt Lab Summit. And then somebody else, this was a note for us, said, love you guys like a fat kid loves cake. So, and then another one said, you guys rock, keep rocking. And then there was a note for the TRW crew who says, good luck, TRW. So they made their presence felt again. And then one final note, and I think this is the most important note, is good luck all. So yes, good luck to everybody. Everybody that was nominated, great job. Everybody that took the time to enter their nominations, great job. Thank you so much for that. I know we made you work a little bit harder this year, but I think it cleaned up some of the challenges that we've had in years past. So
Yeah, absolutely.
awesome. All right, Terry. Well, let's talk about what's coming up here. What's on your schedule coming up?
Well, I'm on my way as soon as we log off here to film 10 Reasons for DTG Printing with Jeff Morgenthaler. That's going to be for the MBM Breakaway number 6 upcoming. I don't know. I didn't have the date that ours is going to be broadcast, but they're all going to be, everything's pre-recorded, but there's going to be a live question and answer at the end of the recorded seminar.
Isn't it all on the same day though? Isn't that a one-day event?
It is a one-day event.
So it's November 18th then.
Okay.
Because
I'm
on a panel on that day. So.
But I thought it was kind of a neat idea that they're going to film it all. Yeah. But then the participants are going to be doing live question and answer at the end. So that'll be pretty cool.
Cool. And Eric's got the link up right on the bottom of the screen there in the comments, so you can check that out.
Upcoming, I'm working on doing some both screen printing and DTG video training events. Nice. And I'll announce a little more about that. And all my events will be showing up at Two Regular Guys, or showing up here on Two Regular Guys, and my website, terrycombs.com.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's awesome. Check that out. I'm looking forward to seeing what you've got coming up. I'll start asking you those 3 questions, Terry, each week, and then I'm going to motivate you to do the.
I love it.
Tying that back. Let's talk real quick about what Eric's got coming up here. He's got his the take up happening at 2:30 Mountain Time, and today it's all about machine embroidery on prints, color selection, and theory. So if you want to catch him and the rest of the reciprocators over there at, I'm not even going to try to do the bit.ly thing. It's bit.ly.ly FB with E. So we'll just go with that. I did try it. I just think I got it. So, or you can check it out at his YouTube channel, which you can just find at YouTube /Eric Campbell. That's Eric with an E. Or again, you can do the bit.ly link, which is bit.ly /YT with E. So, his name's Eric E, that whole thing, you get it, right? And then the other thing I wanted to share from Eric is you can find his Demystifying Next Level Digitizing webinar in recorded form, talking about better running, bolder, more beautiful embroidery with faster cycle from concept to completion. And you can get access to Eric's webinar at bit.ly /EricDD, and that's ERICHDD. So that's what's happening in Eric's world right now. And for me, Terry, I moved the time again of Small Business Saturdays. I apologize for all the time moving, but my dad's actually coming to town. This is his birthday week and also my anniversary week. So we've got some things happening on Saturday. And so I'm going to skip the volleyball and do Small Business Saturdays instead at 8 a.m. center of the universe time, Central Time. So moving back to 8 a.m. This is going to be the 4th week of a 10-week program of where I'm presenting and going through the success principles. And this 4th week is going to be all about believing in yourself. So I think it'll be a nice little takeoff from what we talked about with Matt today. And you can check that out over at liveosg.com or at facebook.com /our success group pro. So I think that's about it for me. We've got some other stuff going on, but I think we've done a great job getting through today here, Terry.
I think so too. And we want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell. You can find him at ericcampbell.com and The Take Up.
Yes, indeed. Check him out over there. And thanks very much to him and to Impressions. Also want to thank Matt Granados for his time today, and a special huge congratulations and shout out to all the nominees and looking forward to presenting some awards here on December. I think it's December 11th. Then I guess it's got to be December 11th because we're closing it on December 10th. So that evening before, we'll close out the voting and then present the winners of the 2028 annual Reggies. Terry, how cool!
I've said this many times before, but I've just been amazed at the reaction to this and how excited people are to have awards from the industry that are not only nominated by participants in the industry, but voted on by participants in the industry. So a true people's award, and I love going to those trade shows and seeing folks having their award displayed in their booth. Yeah,
it's really cool. And again, couldn't happen without all of the decorators community out there. So this is really kudos to you guys for making this happen for 8 years and making it a lot of fun, but also recognizing the people that deserve to be recognized. So Terry, next week we've got Dave Pomeroy, who's the president of NBM, National Business Media, and they publish Graphics Pro magazine and produce the Graphics Pro Expo. And he's going to be talking about the state of the industry. So looking forward to having Dave on to talk about that.
Dave's a great guy. I'm looking forward to talking to him. He's very interesting and should have a lot to share. So
yeah, exactly. Lots of changes. So that means lots of sharing.
Exactly. All right. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the Two Regular Guys.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.